I want to talk today about compassion, which is a really humbling notion. Somehow in my mind's eye, I think that compassion should be such an obvious and natural trait. And in some ways it is. In some ways, it's easy to feel your heart as a part of the collective heart. And in some ways, it's easy to feel the suffering of another as part of yourself. And yet, I find that it's also easy to forget that, especially if and when another is treating you poorly, or especially with our own self. Perhaps hardest is to keep compassion with ourselves. And I don't say it because I don't think you don't know this. I know we know this intellectually. The idea of introducing concepts and themes like this into our physical practice is that it insinuates itself into deeper muscle layers and tissue layers and cell layers and thought streams, until my prayer is that it becomes my living reality unwaveringly. I just walk unwaveringly in compassion, both for myself and everything around me. Close your eyes. Bring your right hand over your heart and bring your left hand over your right hand. And I have to sometimes move my hands because where I first place them may not be the nexus point of the beating, pulsing center of mind. And as you feel this organ muscle, it's both an organ and a muscle, your heart. As you feel it beating, just feel how its beat corresponds to the expansion and contraction of the lungs, which envelop it and relate to it, support it. It is about at 10 days after conception that your mother's heart sends an electrical impulse to your heart. And the yogis were so amazing, they called it the anahata, the unstruck sound. It beats without any two things clanging together. And its beat itself is consciousness, alive, awake, aware, the loving presence inside of you. As you stay the next few breaths with your hands here, let the architecture of your body expand. So lift the crown upwards towards sky, but equally give space in the back of you. So while the heart presents somewhat forward in the chest, the kidneys play backwards, also connecting you into infinite space and sweetness and support. Now bring your palms together. Anjali Mudra, one of my teachers, refers to this as your heart in front of your heart. Your heart, which grew these limbs called arms to touch and interface with this matrix in front of your beating heart. Let's sound Om together 3 times. The first one is for you. The second one is for your community and family. And the third one is for the world. Softly, deep breath. Listen in sound. Deep breath. Please bow your head to this seat for empathy, for love, for unity in the heart. And please release your hands and lift your chin. Softly open your eyes. Come onto your hands and knees to start. So lovingly, we'll just check in with the spine. So as you place your hands strong, please examine your hands and see that each finger intersects with the earth cleanly and clearly. And then just begin to warm up your spine. So flexing the spine, looking in towards your navel. We call that one cat. And then extending, looking, expanding. And just on your own, continue doing that. Feeling really these three curves of the spine and how you can, as you are in flexion, drawing the belly towards the back, how you can open up more the back of the spine. And when you're in extension, in the arch position we call cow, you can open up more the front of the spine. So the front of the spine and the back of the spine are playing skillfully and artfully. And if the heart is the seat of the mind, walk your knees back just a little bit. Think of that cable of the spine as the live wire that is plugging you in to infinite intelligence. Please curl your toes and lift your knees and push yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Look up to your hands, bend your elbows, and as you squeeze your hands towards each other, just feel the entire circumference of your arm fire. So the forearm is firing, the biceps are firing. As you push down through your hands, work to straighten your arms and push yourself back. So I want you to concretize in your mind's eye the framework of the shoulder girdle, which is 3 bones on either side, the collarbone, your arm bone, and that triangle bone we call the scapula. Push stronger through these guys. Inhale, look up to your hands, lift your heels. Step or jump lightly up to the front of your mat. And then reset your feet. Actually do this. Take your feet hip width apart and walk your fingertips forward just a little bit. If you cannot touch the floor, I'd love it if you had blocks, 2 blocks. Just lift up onto the balls of your feet. And the reason I have you do that is I want you to actually, the same way that you laid down each finger intentionally, lay down each toe pad intentionally and create a relationship with each toe. You don't need to know more about my relationships to my toes. And put your heels back down. Just feel the solidity, the intentionality, how nature compassionately constructed these feet. Super important for the opening of your heart. Push down through your feet. Inhale, stretch your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart. Samastiti. So I want to make this point. I'm going to make it again and again. I had an energy worker tell me that so many of us were opening our hearts like this, which can be a tendency of yoga, but we were losing the connection to the earth. So I think a lot of like a really big flower, if it doesn't have a strong and integral stem to let it just falls. It's kind of what can happen. So no matter what, when you go up this way, power down. And I'm going to say today, just for fun, power down from this place of your kidneys down through your heels, just for fun, because it's so fun. Interweave your hands up over your head. So you can have your feet together or apart. It's up to you to decide what serves you. So more remedial is feet hip width, more stable, more advanced, more challenging is feet together. And please stretch over to the left. So this is your greeting, your check-in, your loving acknowledgement of your right lung. Let your upper palate lift up. So think of the upper palate and then the skull, which mirrors that shape, as these two ceilings that help the heart go up and up and up. Good. Inhale, come up, switch your fingers the other way, and then stretch over to the right. Lengthen your tail. I throw out different visuals only so that maybe one insinuates itself into your imagination. So think, one thing I think of is that my tail is like the string of a string tied to a balloon, and the upper palate is the balloon lifting up and up, which is helping the top of my heart open. Good. Inhale to center. Release your hands. Exhale, fold forward. Touch the floor. Keeping your legs strong and firm, connected. Inhale, extend forward through the upper palate. Exhale, please step your left foot to the back of your mat. And bring your left knee to the floor. Push your right hand to the right thigh and twist your upper body to the right. Stay stable in your left shin. Just for a moment before you reach your arm up, because as soon as there's a tendency, as soon as the arms extend, that we will let the shoulders fold forward. So I want you to think of the T shape of the sternum, this center bone, and the two collarbones broadening the T shape. So the collarbones wrap around like handlebars. Stretch your right arm up to the ceiling. So an amazing and beautiful premise in your experience with your body is if you put your bones in the right place, the muscles will figure it out. Now if you want to go deeper, lift your left knee off the floor. That left leg originates all the way from the left kidney, and you take your right arm up and over your right ear, breathing. So you can think of the postures and the poses like poems for compassion. Exhale, right hand to the floor. Step your left foot forward, Uttanasana. That won't be true if you're beating yourself up in every pose. Interlace your hands behind your back. So powering down from your kidneys to your pelvis and from your pelvis to your heels, lift your hands and your shoulders upwards towards the ceiling. Micro bend your elbows. That's it. So a loving thing to do with each of the characters of your body that we call bones, everything in my body has a characterization, is to honor where the lower, micro bend that elbow, where the upper arm bone and the lower arm bones, the two ones, radius and ulnus, meet each other, which is called a joint. And the joints like to not be locked. Shoulders on your back. Inhale, rise up to standing. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, touch floor, Uttanasana. Inhale, make your inner body long, upper palate extends. Slow motion, step your right foot to the back of your mat, coming onto the right knee. Push your left hand to your left thigh. The place where your shoulder meets, where your shoulder starts in the front is where this collarbone meets the sternum. So if you just put your attention for a moment to your left collarbone and where it meets the sternum, try to pull the shoulder back from there. Try to pull your left shoulder back from there. And then stretch the left arm up. So it follows the cue of the left side of your heart, left lung, and then it's just really a tendril that unfurls from there. If you want to go deeper, lift your right thigh off the floor. And you can spiral your left arm up and over your left ear. Staying sweetly full in the kidneys. Think of these kidneys as energy pumps that fuel the heart. That may not be in a medical book. That's just my concept. Exhale, left hand to the floor. Please step your right foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, extend. And exhale, fold. Take your index finger and your thumb to the very base of your skull. So where the amazing invention, the shape of our skull, rests on the top of the structure of our spine, try to create more space. So as both hands are there, take both hands there. Emphasize more power down from your pelvis to your heels. So you're not just pulling the head and sacrificing the hamstrings. You have to have an equal weight going from your sits bones down to your heels. Push your head into your hands. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. You'd stretch your arms straight up. So feel your heart lift up energetically. See if you can do that. See if you can lift your heart without thrusting your ribs forward. Now take your arms out to the side, just for a moment, lifting up through the upper palate and then envisioning the lungs helping, encouraging the heart up. As you do that, lengthen the tail. If you feel strain in the back of your neck, reposition. So it's not shove the neck back. So what I've been focusing on is the upper palate lifts, the tail goes down, and then I'm using my lungs, which I think of as spanning out through the arms. Good, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward, touch floor. I love your soft eyes. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, please step your left foot to the back of your mat, lunge. Steady in that right foot. We need you to be connected to the earth for the opening of the heart space. Stretch your arms up, crescent. Your heart radiates like a torus shape. They say electromagnetically about 10 feet beyond you, at least. I'm working for 100 feet. Bring your left hand to the back of your left thigh. Take your right finger to the middle top of your head. Now think of driving. You can take your tongue towards your upper palate. The tongue is called the sprout of the heart in Chinese medicine. I just like the word sprout. Good for tongues and children. Take your head back towards your finger. So I'm asking you to drive the upper palate back and up towards your finger. So you're opening up thoracic spine, but don't lose tail. Now stretch your right hand back. You're just following the curve of that. Moment by moment, you keep softening your inner landscape and softening your breath. Exhale, hands to the floor. Please step your right foot back, downward dog. I'm working slowly, almost surgically, to try to get all of the ligaments, the muscles, the bones around the space of your heart. Turn those hands out just a little bit. So that when we go into a greater expression, it feels somewhat easeful. Step your left foot forward. Get heavy in these leg stems. Inhale, arms up. The back of the heart, so if you think of that torus shape, which is like a donut, it's expanding backwards as much as it's expanding forwards. It's expanding circumferentially around you. Now take your right hand to the back of your right thigh, take your left finger to the middle top of your head. So I visualize the heart then like a volcano that's going up through the top of the head. I'm going to try not to cycle through more ridiculous analogies, but there's no telling what comes out of here. Take your left arm straight, up and back. So you're moving towards a bow, right? You're actualizing the shape of a bow in your body, but you're doing it only as far as is benevolent to yourself today. That's super important. Everyone soften your jaw in the next 2 breaths. Good. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Step your left foot back. Plank. If you need to, you can always come onto your knees. I'm much more interested in the architecture of the bones than that you are suffering and dropping your head. So feel the T shape of the collarbones and the sternum supporting you. Let your heart peek forward through your lungs and lower to chaturanga. Please come all the way to your belly. So here, lift your hands away from your body. From the floor. And away from your body. Scoop your tail. So feel as you tack the tail down, that has a tonus in the lower belly. Now I've got a place to move from. And just start to lift up. See how much you can summon, without arms, the lift of the upper palate and the participation of the upper back muscles. Come down a little bit, so your muscles will get primed. Push your feet into the floor, scoop your tail, and see if you can lift up slightly higher. And then come back down. See if you can do it this time and soften your forehead. See if you can lift up. No eyebrows required. Now bring your hands to the floor. In front, Sphinx pose. So the clearer we can be with our lower back, the easier it is to let this expansion happen in the heart. Do this. Drag your knees forward a little bit so your sit bones move away. Scoop tail. Feel that tether of the tail and then lift up. Now do the sweetest action. Just let your heart soften forward towards your sternum. And then you're like, oh, I'm so glad I have a sternum there. That way someone can just put their hand inside of me and pull my heart out. So I have to go through my sternum. Right. I know that's the thought you just had. Okay, come down, bring your hands where your elbows were, curl your toes, lift your hips, downward dog. I should stop looking at vampire stuff. It's hard to these days. If you keep putting your mind's eye on the heart and what it does and that phenomenal, mysterious organ muscle of the heart, I think it does a lot to change your orientation. From where do I make decisions? From where do I interface with people? Inhale, look up to your hands. Make your arms super strong. Step or jump forward, Uttanasana. Reset your feet. Look forward, extend. Good. Exhale, fold. Push down through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart. Take your right hand behind you, and then take your left hand to your right elbow, sliding the right hand down your back. But as you slide it down equally, this wing, your right shoulder blade, try to draw it in. So you're trying to draw it in as low down in your back at the beginning of the trapezius. So here, rather than from up here. So right between your shoulder blades, try to draw the shoulder down as you push the upper palate back. Simple actions. Soften your ribs down so that you feel the kidneys go poof. Oh yeah, I'm a part of this game. And then lengthen your tail down. Slide, the armpit gets deep. Good. And then jump, switch arms. You notice how the shoulder blade can wing out. That's part of what happens when the arms are in this plane. And part of part of my game is just to see in this position, which is pretty challenging, if I can isolate and slide the bottom tip of the left shoulder blade down and in. That would constitute mastery of the upper back muscles. You can use your right hand if you want to indicate, here's the shoulder blade winged out to the side, and just sliding it in. Because if I can do that in any back bend, I will never, ever have shoulder pain. Maybe. Everyone's like, you swear? Can we have it in writing? Release that hand, inhale, stretch both arms up. Feel where the heart is in your lung bed. Exhale, fold forward, touch floor. Inhale, extend forward from the upper palate. Exhale, step back to plank. The heart, surrounded by the wings of the heart, the lungs, like a butterfly, stays expansive. You need your upper palate to lift to keep that expansion, chaturanga. Slow. Inhale, lead with the upper palate, pull forward. Watch your hands in that transition from chaturanga to up dog. Yeah, the finger pads don't need to come up. Exhale, downward dog. Feel the heart in your down dog move with gravity towards the floor. It's a sweet move. And as you do that, as you feel the heart move towards the floor, equally, let your lower ribs move back. So the front ribs don't have to flare for the heart to move significantly higher up than where the ribs are. So the heart can move forward while the ribs stay in. Inhale, look up to your hands. Bend your knees, step or jump. Look forward, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Push down through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Okay, check in with your body. Look at me. Are we this? So cute. Tail down. Then see if you can lift the heart up. Think of the heart as lifting like an elevator up on the lungs as the tail anchors down. Hands to your heart. It's a refinement, but it's so much cleaner. Inhale, stretch up. So I have to have the tether of the tail to keep the expansion of the heart. Exhale, fold forward, touch floor. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat, lunge. Left thigh stays lifted, initiating all the way from the kidney. Inhale, arms up, crescent. Can you feel how when the right foot unplugs a little bit, the whole system is compromised? So I see that the inside edge of the foot tends to unplug, but inside edge of the foot is midline. Stamp down through the midline. Now clasp the hands behind the back of the head. Let the upper palate lead. So curl the head back. If you need to breathe on the back knee, that's okay too. And then anchor tail. We're going to pulse like this. So the upper palate goes back. And tail goes down. Upper palate, upper palate. Upper palate goes back. Tail goes down. Then stretch your arms back. Lifting your left side more. Left kidney. Soften your forehead, your face, your eyes. It's an offering. The pose itself is an offering. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step your right foot back, downward dog. So notice the difference between when it's a suffering and an offering. Right? If the pose becomes a suffering for you, it's not really doing much to help tip you into the space where you can offer loving kindness and empathy to everyone and anything around you. Step your left foot forward. There's another choice. Steady in the legs. Inhale, reach your arms. Right, so we did this slow with the fingers as landmarks we're trying to teach ourselves how to move more integrally. Clasp the hands behind the back of the head and then let the upper palate lead. It's kind of like if you had a spaceship and the command center were right at the upper palate. It would drive oh my God, that was just dangerously down the road of bad analogies. Let your kidneys go back and then stretch your arms back. The center, the fulcrum of the brain. Soften your jaw. Nice, Tinka. Beautiful. Everyone, exhale, hands to the floor. Step your right foot forward, Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Push down through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way to the sky. Lengthen the back of the neck. Hands to your heart. Stand on your right foot. Bring your left foot to your inner right thigh. Foot to thigh, thigh to foot. Hands to the side. And then what's nice in this relatively simple position is it helps you refer to midline, but then look up. Use the lungs as if they were presenting the heart upwards. Even if you're looking down, use the scapula, the lungs, so there's layers, to present the heart upwards. It's like a flower opening as the tail tethers down. Now refine, upper palate lifts upwards like a hot air balloon. I'm going to keep going until I hit the analogy. One of you's got it, and you're probably going to you have to scream it out. Bring your hands back to your heart and release your left foot to the floor. Standing on your left foot. You have to kind of lose yourself in the simplicity. Right foot to your inner left thigh. So the beauty is in the details, in the refinements, and how even the way my foot intersects with the floor is teaching my body compassion, or how I handle the fact that my foot is unplugging from the floor. Take your arms out to the side. Oh, that's good. Bryce has the Superman logo, the Om Shine t-shirt. That's a good one. So lift it up. But then notice, every time I lift my heart up compassionately, I need the power of my kidneys. So I have to go backwards. To me, that's teaching me about intersecting with people in compassion. I need my will. I need my determination. I need my sense of self in order to be able to fully empathize with and support others. Bring your hands to your heart. Release your right foot to the floor. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend forward. So from here, you can step or jump. You can step to plank or jump into chaturanga. If you're jumping into chaturanga, wait for my steppers. That's your act of loving presence. Inhale, slide through. Okay, everyone stay here, as much as I love you. If you need to take a rest, do. But here's still, this is not letting my heart present it. It's kind of like, I kind of feel what you're feeling. But if you forward, up, fulfill it, the expression of the pose. Downward dog. Some of you with your lower back, if you go into up dog, if you push the tops of your feet into the floor and lift your kidney tendrils off the floor, your legs, it will help your lower back. Inhale, look up to your hands. Bend your knees, step or jump. Look forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Push down through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way to the sky. Tail down. Hands to your heart. Okay, moving on. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, touch floor. Inhale, extend. Step to plank or jump to chaturanga. I'm most interested in the next pose, cobra or up dog. Pull with the upper palate. I want you to take an extra breath here because it's not a game to get out as fast as possible. Soften this. Pull these guys back. That's it. Now lengthen up this way. Yeah, downward dog. Right foot forward, back foot flat. Inhale to warrior one. If it's too much with the back foot flat, you can lift the heel. It is okay. Do this. Take your arms by the side. That was some free time there. If you bring your arms by the side, just for a moment, I want you to swivel your hips so that you can feel, I know this is not traditional, and Iyengar probably didn't teach this, but I want you just to feel the movement in your hip sockets, the femur bones that are able to move sweetly inside of the hip socket, sweet-ish, depending on your body. But then square. So as I square, I'm not getting into fixity too quickly. Extend deeper. So I know part of my loving presence is I have to connect to earth. Because I can't support anybody. That's part of this is the poem of this pose. Then I present my heart up. And it has to be from my heart because consciousness is so brilliant that if it's really just from outside, it shows. Right? If it's just, it looks like that. If you lift your heart up and soften your eyes, there's some harmony that's happening between the everything and your part of it. One more breath. Deepen the right knee. Resist with the left thigh. Gorgeousness. Exhale, hands to the floor. Beautiful, friends. Thank you. Step back, plank. I thank you because when you inhabit the expression of the pose fully, it sings. The pose sings. Chaturanga. Inhale, curl. Okay, watch your hands in the transitions, friends, because if they move in transitions, it's going to look for your wrist as a place to dump. Exhale, downward dog. Carol, good. Please have a check-in and see that your wrist creases are parallel to the front of your mat. Let that knuckle be the most important one. So the index knuckle is taking care of where your collarbone meets your scapula. So it's a super important foundational point for your shoulders, the index knuckle. Left foot forward, back foot flat. Let your arms go ahead and dangle by the sides. I just like that word, dangle. So you can feel, right? The better I can articulate where my thigh bone meets my hip socket, then the better I'll be able to manipulate these complicated actions that have different scenarios going on. Get heavy. Get heavy. Let the tail anchor into earth. From there, I can lift up. My head is following the cue of my heart. I could lead with my head, but it creates a much different pattern and affect than when my head follows what the heart does. Please hook your thumbs so we can get a little more juice in the arms. You can bend the elbows out to the side, and then where the shoulders start in the back, right between the shoulder blades, extend the arms up more. Don't lose your tail. So you still have power in the core of the belly. Release hands, go full stretch. I love your jaw tension. Now let it go. Good. Exhale, hands to the floor. You can take down dog if you need breaks or go to plank. So up to you. There's mixed level if you need to modify in down dog or take a child's pose. All of these things are okay. Good. Meet me in downward dog. What's happening, Aurora? What did you do?
No, it's just always tight on the left side of the sink.
Okay. Inhale, look up to your hands, lift your heels, bend your knees, step or jump. Look forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bring your feet together, knees together, bend your knees and squat chair, Utkatasana. So think of the whole zipper of the back of your spine can power down through the tail. Bring your hands to your heart. We'll do it from the lungs. Left lung guides, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. We're twisting spine right to left to open up the sides of the spine. Tack your left hip back. Use the hands against each other to move the two collarbones away from each other. So I should see broadening happening in the top of your chest. Right on. Inhale, untwist. Interweave your fingers behind your back and fold forward again. Possibly something happens to you in poses where it is challenging, where you have to summon up more of yourself. I can report from my experience, sometimes I'll feel frustrated, then I'll feel done, then I'll feel upset that I feel frustrated and done. And what's lacking is just that sweet, sweet patience with myself. Bend your knees, drop your hips, squat chair. If it's too much with the feet together, you can have the feet apart, but I find that it's a little bit challenging in the twist to stay stable in the hips. Bring your hands to your heart. Resist. The right hip has to stay tacked back as you twist. Doing it from inside, so you're not shoving your bones that way. You're trying to use the lung and the heart complex. Sink deeper in your butte. Use the two hands to broaden both shoulders so you're so aware the right side doesn't get sacrificed, because that doesn't help you in the complex of the mind. Inhale, untwist, super bagus. Stretch your legs straight. Oh, sorry, that was Indonesian. Super bagus. The super part wasn't Indonesian. Interlace your hands behind your back. Maybe you can lose yourself in the beautiful poem of the shoulder blades crafting like wings towards the sky, and then emanating up and out as arms lifting towards ceiling, and then the heart moving itself more and more forward, just as it is in small children, very present. There's really no small child I've seen under the age of 5 with a concave upper body. It's all very present. Shoulders on your back, inhale, rise, up. Release your hands, inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, touch floor. So how do you move? How do you sit with yourself as you move? Inhale, upper pellet extends. Step to plank or jump to chaturanga. This hand keeps turning. Yeah. Inhale, curl through. Stay here for 3 breaths in cobra or up dog, or sphinx pose if you can't manage those. Marry your fingers to the earth. Now set about the game of broadening. Pull the collarbones back so they disappear. Fill in the kidneys. Now with me, lift up the neck, up through the upper palate. Good. Downward dog. Dan, beautiful. Right foot forward, back foot flat, warrior two. See how the first thing that happened when you said it is that foot came in the heel? So pull, yeah. Bring your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your right. And then if any part of you rolled your eyes just now, release that. Turn your chest this way. I know. I'd like to be not so psychic. Top of the sternum lifts up and the tailbone moves down. Now just drive your arms this way. I'm having you do this because this is really how arms grow, which I'm fascinated by. And then the forearms turn down, which was an evolutionary push. So cool. Then turn your eyes over your right hand. So I'm looking for, in some systems, the heart chakra includes the throat and the mouth. I kind of like that because this whole thing is my mind. How the throat, so what I'm looking at in your physical structure is if the neck and the head disconnects from that, it's like it's falling off the plume, the axis, right leg straight, triangle pose. I like to call it also fireworks pose because there's this, for free, you get the pop-in. If your hand can't touch the floor, you can bring your right hand to ankle or to block, but push down and increase the relationship between your right big toe mound and the floor. Bring your left finger to the middle top of your head. So I want us to get so good and efficient at lengthening the axial trunk through the girdles. Then stretch your left arm straight up to the ceiling. So the neck doesn't need to hang. It doesn't need to be weak or passive. Take your left arm up and over your ear. You need to remember to get blocked. Push through your left wrist and then see this beautiful action of just carving the left shoulder blade slightly more. One more breath. I know you've been here a while. From your right lung, rotate your torso. Yeah, super good. To the sky. Beautiful. Inhale, untwist. Left hand to the floor. Your choice. You can step to down dog or you can take plank chaturanga. But that doesn't mean you do it fast because I didn't say everyone do it together. Heart flowers, heart flowers, heart flowers, heart flowers. Downward dog. Sometimes the simplest classes are the hardest, huh? Left foot forward, back foot flat. Warrior two. Okay, I'll have you do something different this time. Maybe less eye rolling. Bring your left hand to the top of your sternum. Your sternum is in three parts, like your spine. So the top of the sternum is called the manubrium. It can lift up. And there's sutures in the sternum. That means those parts can move independently. Now bring your right hand to the bottom of the sternum. It's called the xiphoid process. It's where the two ribs meet. And there's like a tailbone. Tailbone. Okay, so the xiphoid process goes down. And that's a sweet, soft action. But the manubrium goes up. Can you feel that? Say yes. Okay, good. Xiphoid process goes down, manubrium goes up. And that's a super sweet, subtle adjustment. Now broaden the lungs right to left and drive your arms out to the side. Anywhere there are sutures in the bones of my body, it means those bones can move independently. That's important to know. Everyone put more breath into your right lung. So the back arm is as attended when you turn your eyes over your left hand. Power deeper in your left knee. Good. Left leg straight, triangle pose. It's good. See, what just happened somehow is the energy of the room just settled. Maybe you gave up resisting. You weren't resisting, that was just my imagination. Yeah, there. Take your right arm up and over your ear. It's just a slight, we're rotating the arm in different planes to get the different intelligences of the bones of the shoulder girdle. So if you push through your right wrist, slide your right armpit deeper. You might even feel the shoulder blades slide down your upper back. It's a beautiful action. Good. Inhale, untwist, right hand to the floor. Step your left foot back, downward dog. Come onto your belly. Drag your knees forward. Scoop your tail. Interlace your hands behind your back. So locust variation. You've got to use everything. If I think of my legs as starting high, then my ribs will go down, my pelvis goes down. Push your legs into the floor and then lift up through your upper back. If you feel it in your lower back, stop, reset, reposition. So we're not trying to slam into the lower back. So you're going to pulse down with the upper pellet, lift. And you can pulse down. Even reshift the position of your fingers and see if you can lift. We're trying to recruit the muscles of the upper back, especially the back of your upper back. One more time. Do you love it? I can see. Okay, good. And then lift up. I can tell from your expression. If I invited you for dinner and that was the expression of what I made, you probably wouldn't come back. Okay, good. Release your hands to the floor, push back, downward dog. In fact, if I did invite you to dinner, that probably would be the expression of what I made. Shalambhasana and what you made for dinner look exactly the same on my face. Soften your heart. Inhale, look up to your hands. Bend your knees, step or jump. Look forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Lengthen tail, lengthen tail, lengthen tail. Clasp your hands behind the back of your head. Okay, so working just in degrees. If you need more stability, take your feet hip width. Make your thighs go back, tailbone go down, curl your head back. Notice if the pelvis pushes forward as the first action, then back up, thighs go back, tailbone goes down. Curl your upper pellet back. Use the lungs to lift the heart up. Anchor your tail down. Fill into the kidneys. You can curl your head back. Trying to get the heart to present up. Lift your heart up. Anchor your tail down. One more time. Upper pellet curls back. Anchor your tail down. Lift your heart up. Exhale, fold forward. Touch hands to floor. Inhale, extend forward. Exhale, step back, downward dog. Or if you want to move through vinyasa, you can plank chaturanga. That's it. Veronica, nice. Good. Right foot forward, back foot flat, warrior one. Straight into it now. You got the light on you. The top of the diamond shape of my heart is the manubrium. So let the manubrium lift up. That's the top of the sternum. Bottom of the sternum moves down. Now you can go 2 more breaths, full expression in the pose. Emphasize the heart. And so it's not what the limbs are doing, it's what the heart and the lungs. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step to down dog or move through plank chaturanga. Don't drop the head. Left foot forward, back foot flat. Heavy in your legs. Let it connect, anchor, channel to the earth. Stretch your arms up. Right, so this warrior one, or not so, it's not so, this has to go. This has to go with it. This is what's pulling the heart up. Bend the left knee deeper. That's it. Anchor your tail. Beautiful, friends. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step your left foot back, downward dog. Please take child's pose. Feet together, knees apart. Let yourself pour your awareness into the loving presence and attitude that you have with yourself. Just let yourself give sweet compassion to yourself. However your body feels today, or what it's done or it's not doing. Inhale and come up. So I'd like you to sit in virasana, which is sitting between your heels. Some of you may wish, if your sit bones won't touch the floor, you can sit on a block or a blanket. Let me see your block for a second. So you would just put it between your 2 heels. Your inner heels are touching your outer hips. The knees are right out from your hips. And you can rake the tops of your knees up. So the idea of this pose is that it's stretching the quads. If you feel kind of like, nothing's happening, then you can lie back onto your, if you're on a lift, please don't lie back. So this is more advanced, but if this pops up, it's not doing what we want it to. Therefore, continue to sit up. Yeah. Knee pain? Knee injury? Okay. So if you have a knee injury, what I'd like you to do from here is a thigh stretch. You can lie on your belly. You can either do this. If that's still not good for you, you can do the same thing on your side. Right, but keep the shins hugging in, so that if the knee goes too out from the hips, too far out from the hips, it won't feel good. It will torque it. That's it, Lisa. Keep pushing the top of your knee down and then scoop your sit bone down more. So everyone, whichever position you're in, please set about doing the following. Soften into the back body. I keep referencing the kidneys, and I know that it's not obvious where kidneys live or what they do. All of that is something that we strangely may have missed in school. So if you let your back floating ribs float backwards to create space, that will help. Also, if you soften your face and your jaw, I keep thinking about the meals I've served you that you didn't like. Now, actively, whichever position you're in, please extend your thigh bones forward, as if I were pulling them out of your pelvis. So they're getting length and traction. The knee joints are opening up and getting more space. If you are stretching your thighs, those of you who are modifying, please switch legs if you didn't already. Otherwise, you'll start walking in a circle. Lengthen your tail, everyone. So can you, in this very fixed position, expand the matrix of your body so the thigh bones are moving further away from the kidneys, down and out. Your ribs are moving back towards the back plane of the body. Those of you who are all the way down, you can interlace your hands up over your head and just stretch through the upper chest now. And as you do, notice how the ribs will tend to expand forward. Sweet, compassionate ribs, soften them back. And think of the back ribs now expanding back. Don't hold your breath, but you know that. Right on. Good. And those of you who are down, you can start to make your way back onto your elbows. Anchor down. Those of you who are sitting up, you can start to walk your hands forward. Curl into the balls of your feet, and then just stretch your legs out one at a time. Coming into downward dog. Step your right foot forward and come onto your left knee. Just for a moment, stand on your right foot more, so you back out of the pose. Let the knee be vertical over the ankle. I want you just to bring your hands to the backs of your ribs, so see where my hands are, and breathe into that space. So behind there, I promise, is probably at least one kidney. Some of you have two. Most of us have two. Scoop your tail. So we want to keep that reference. Now I can slide forward, but as I'm sliding forward, the knee can go past the ankle in this pose. I want to keep referencing space in the back. And clasp your hands behind the back of your head. Upper palate curls back. Anchor the tail down. Stay full in the back. Upper palate curls back. Lunge deeper in the right knee. So you can always back up if you start to feel in the lower back. Then stretch your arms back. Anjaneya asana. That's it. Soften your jaw. Good. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Okay. Downward dog. So see how qualitatively you can craft the pose. And the way I interface with that is, what if this were how I were treating someone in need? Right? This is my compassionate practice. Left foot forward, come onto the right knee. Stand so that your left knee is more vertical at first. So you're filling in, you're texturizing the back waistline. And then as you lunge deeper, stretch your arms up. This time we won't go to the back of the head because you remember that. So lifting the head. And you can feel so clear the upper palate and the tail moving and letting your heart go on a ride on the lungs. Now lunge deeper so the knee can go past the ankle. The left knee can move past the ankle. Your face stays soft. And the last two breaths, present tailbone up to the heart. Expand. Exhale, hands to the floor. Your choice. Step back to down dog or move through plank chaturanga. Steady in the shoulders. Soften, soften. Inhale, look up to your hands, lift your heels, bend your knees, step or jump. Look forward, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Push down strong through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart. Standing on your right foot, hold on to the left foot, Nataraj. My left foot and my right hand are going to go evenly together in opposite directions to create the shape. So as I drive the pose, the pivot point, the focal point is the core, the pelvis. So as you drive the left foot back and the right arm forward, but you're still trying to present the heart peeking towards the earth through the lungs. That's it. Now, last 2 breaths, full extension. Extend your arm forward and your leg back. Let the pose sing. Release left leg, bend right knee. Step all the way back to a crescent. Here, inhale, stretch arms up. Good. Exhale, hands to the floor. Your choice, plank chaturanga or down dogga. Good? Okay, good. Just give you a stretch. Not because of anything except that I'm right here. Inhale, look up to your hands. Bend your knees, step or jump. Look forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold. You're almost there, friends, I promise. Inhale, stretch your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart. Second side, balancing on your left foot. Establish the left foot, really establish it. Right hand goes for the right foot. And then extend the whole pose. The more you push your right foot into your right hand, the more power and leverage. It also pulls the right shoulder back. And then as you pour forward, go forward, the heart moves. Almost like it wishes to take a peek at the earth. Stretch your right leg back, slowly catch, crescent. Start to curl the pose, expand the pose. So the spring of your spine starts to open and reveal the heart. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step your right foot forward. I had to say that fast because I knew that you might do something else. Just fold in deep. Hold on to the backs of your ankles or the sides of your shins. Employ your core, so both sides of your body, the front and the back of the body, evenly work together to help fold you humbly in half, to help fold you deeply and humbly in half. Not only just folding in, but now try to broaden your 2 sides of yourself, right to left. The 2 wings of the heart, the lungs, right to left, broaden. The 2 pelvic halves, right to left, broaden. Face softens. Okay, bend your knees and please come to your butte. You can actually lie down on your back. Use your hands against your thigh creases and push your thigh bones forward towards the front of the room, which will create an arch in your lower back, but it also is the feeling sense of thighs back. The thighs creating length in the side body. And you can feel how just pushing those stems of your legs away from your shoulders creates space. Then see how into that space you can scoop your tail. It's like a little, I think of that as the on button for my spine. It's like I just went dink on, and I got in my spaceship and went off to dinner that I made. No. Push through the back of your head. And your upper arms, your shoulders, lift your hips. It's colorful in there. Bridge pose. That was beautiful, Ronnie, how you did that. So make sure that your feet didn't turn out, they didn't splay out to the side, and the most lifted part of your body isn't your butt, but rather it's the whole idea that on this curvy spine, as I lengthen the tail forward, I can use the shoulder blades to present and lift the chest. And that physical position changes my attitude. Nice. And release down. Please just bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your lower belly. And feel. Somehow I was thinking about how we participate with children, especially young children when they're 3 and 4, and they're trying to do something. We're so, hopefully, and in an ideal world, we're sweet and patient with them as they're trying to do things. Not like, wow, I can't believe you can't write in cursive yet, 3-year-old. Or why aren't you cooking dinner? What's your problem? You don't. And my contemplation, which is pretty simple, is why do we lose that with ourselves? I mean, not that I still want to be going through potty training when I'm my age, but I would like to be able to treat my own self the way I would my 3-year-old niece in certain arenas. It's okay. It's okay that I don't have balance today, or that my body's in a little bit of pain, or whatever I'm doing. The universe is so much more compassionate than we are to ourselves. Again, bridge. I want to have you do another bridge, even if you're like you got up and you did 108 drop backs before breakfast, which consisted of white rice and pears. I'd like you to still do another bridge and pattern the bridge so that you're creating this really sweet and clear relationship between what's happening to the upper palate, what's happening to the tail. And then on the next one, if you wish to, you can do upward bow. And on this one, let's cue in the lower legs for a moment. Please lift your heels. And then move your thigh bones back towards the ground and apart. So you're widening the pelvic floor. Now lengthen the tail into that space and put the heels back down. And then everything from your pelvis to your heels extends. So as if I were pulling you. That's it. So there's this lengthened space in the whole upper body. Right on. Good. And come on down. Bring the opposite hand to your heart and the opposite hand to your lower belly. I always think how the bodhisattvas, those Buddhas who attained enlightenment, and as the teaching goes, they forego leaving this wheel of samskara in order to come back again and again till all beings are free. That's a bodhisattva. And the vow of the bodhisattva is compassion. That we're able to have compassion for all beings, which I wish I could have remembered when the dude laid on his horn behind me this morning. It's like, he doesn't mean to do that. I understand. He's upset and in a hurry. I lost it again. I was like, put it. Namaste, I'm teaching about compassion. Place your hands up by your shoulders. If you like, you can stay in bridge. I forgot to mention that. Otherwise, inhale up to the top of your head. You are doing one of the two things, bridge, or if you're super in need of rest, you could rest the block underneath your torso, underneath your pelvis. Inhale and push up. Okay, those of you who are in wheel, please do the following. Lift your heels, spiral your thighs back and apart, and lengthen your tail. Sit good. Put your heels back down from the pelvis. Push both your leg tendrils and your arm tendrils into the earth. Good. Walk your feet out and come on down. One hand to your heart, one finger to your third eye. Just linking energy centers with energy centers. That's why I have you do it. The third eye, your vision center, and your heart, we've been talking about. It's a huge burst of prana into the heart. Please stretch your arms over your head, stretch your legs out long, stretch your whole spine, top to bottom. Especially when you stretch, one thing I'll notice when I stretch is I'll have a tendency to arch my back, because that's my tendency. So see if you can do the opposite. Lengthen your tail and your sitting bones down the backs of your legs as you pull your upper body up and out of it. Cross your, bend both knees, please, and cross your right ankle over your left knee. I have the needle pose. Clasp your hands behind your left thigh. So pulling your left leg in. Flex both feet. Flex both feet so that you have a boundary with your legs. And then push your thigh bones away from you. So even though you're pulling your left leg towards your chest, the action is pushing your thighs away. At the same time as you slide the shoulders towards the floor. Just opening up the lower body again. And please cross your right knee on top of your left. So go knee on top of knee, same side. So we're not switching sides yet. And then cross the knees over to the left. So twisting to the left. Open up your right arm to the right. And use your left hand to push your right hip away. Somebody in Bali was telling me there's an amazing Vipassana teacher who lives in Bali named Murta Ada. And I'm watching, because Bali is a very small island, how Murta Ada is transmuting the population one by one. Lots of Indonesian people as well as expats that live there. And at the end of a 7-day silent retreat, my friend was sharing with me, Murta Ada invites people to share to their experience. I'll continue on the second side. Inhale, untwist. Cross your left ankle on top of your right knee. So engage your feet. We want to make the whole lower leg complex active. And push your right thigh bone forward into your hand. Equally try to get your left hip to move away. Outer rotate your left hip so it moves away from your shoulders. So at the end of this intense retreat, this intense transformational retreat, he asks and invites people to share. And apparently there was a guy who'd been on many, many Murta Ada retreats and was a regular of his. And when he shared, he went on a bit of a rant and just was acting up in a way, sort of calling the whole thing baloney and saying all this stuff. And my friend reported to me, Murta Ada just looked at this man with such a smile and sweet love in his face, and he said, "Oh, Dan, I so enjoy you." Without any irony or snarkiness in his voice, just sweet love, because It's clear, we've all had that experience where you go on something that's supposed to be transformational and you just struggle. Cross your right knee on top of your left. Left knee on top of right. Same knee on top. Twist to the right. I think of that a lot. When I, and when I say I mean we, because we're not different, can handle any challenging character in a way that we look at them and we say, oh, that is me, too. That is me. Making those choices, that is me struggling to be with a group of people in Vipassana, that is me honking the horn because I got to get to my something. That same guy that honked his horn as I was driving, he pulled over to go to the 7-Eleven. I was like, wow. And then he got out of his car and he looked at me and he waved his arms more. And at that point, the compassion did come because I realized, wow, he's upset about many things besides me. Inhale, untwist. Pull your right knee into your chest and push your left thigh straight down on the ground. Stretch your right foot up to the ceiling. Anchor your left leg into the floor the best you can. And then set about doing this. Upper palate and the whole of the shoulder girdle. It's a very sweet and subtle action just to slide the shoulder girdle back. But it's letting your whole body repose and reset to the back plane. Open up your right leg to the right and your left arm to the left. Notice how the tendency will be for the left thigh to pop up and the left side waistline to pop away from the floor. Joshua, you can hold on to the outside of your leg. It will help you. Not helpful? Not as helpful. You want the strap. Everyone lift your right leg up. You can stay there for a minute. And then twist to the left, bending the right knee. Cross your right leg over to the left. Open up your right arm to the right. I think about this. If we all were capable of empathy for all beings, what would the world look like? If we were capable of empathizing with everyone and everything around us, how would your life look different? Not just your life, the world. Inhale and untwist. Right leg down. Pull your left knee to your chest. Anchor the right thigh down. Think of this, it's a very simple action and you maybe encounter it almost every class, but this repatterning of the leg stem that's coming from your kidneys, anchoring it into the earth is doing so much to ground you into your life. It's a simple, simple action, but it is profound. Shut your left leg up. I don't know why I became an infomercial for Supta Padangusthasana, but there you go. And if you buy it now, you'll get one free Shavasana. But wait. Isn't that funny? We all know that mantra. But wait, there's more. Bend your left knee and twist to the right. Oh, sorry, open up to the left. So to the best of your ability, emphasize your right leg. Make that right leg power into the earth. And I'll play with from what place. I'm languaging kidney, but you could play with your right lung all the way down to your right foot, your right armpit to your right foot, your right eye to your right foot. Dr. Sally agrees with that one. Okay, bend your left knee and now twist, as previously advertised. Open up your left arm to the left. In a form of tantric Buddhist meditation called Bakchimpa, they will say, Kamala Shila will say that you wouldn't even have the karma to see something if it wasn't in your character. So, for example, the man who was behind me today, honking and waving his arms, I wouldn't see that man in that tradition if there wasn't that character inside of me. I fully know that character lives inside of me, so what to do is to do things in my life, paying it forward to clear that circuitry. So perhaps practicing more patience, or helping somebody who is in an auto situation, stopping to call somebody for help. Doing things that would be the antithesis to that action to help generate that inside of this part of consciousness that I'm responsible for. Inhale, untwist. And because you bought it so early, Shavasana. Only for the first 100 subscribers. Roll your feet in and out a few times. Oh, sorry. Close your eyes. Turn your palms to face the ceiling. Letting the fingers curl into the palms. Take a deep breath in through your nose as you exhale. Sigh it out. And let everything go. It is a sweet, beautiful, loving act to prostrate your body in this way, to assemble it in this neutral position, to let all of the processes of consciousness harmonize. Just allowing your heart to rest now into the bed of the lungs. Let your eyes travel backwards into the depth of the eye sockets, and the inner ears to soften. Let your ribs soften back, and the organs to plump in. Just feeling this loving, nurturing practice with your own self. You do miles to help transform everything and everyone around you. Simple. With that sweet, efficient reset, deepen your breath. Gently move your fingers and toes and stretch your arms and your legs. And bending your knees, roll to the right side. Use your arms to come back to seated. Bring your hands to your hearts. Feel your heart rise in acknowledgement of the hands. May we be compassionate. May our efforts facilitate the freedom and the loving presence of all beings. To your heart, to yourself, bow. Namaste.
Namaste.